going for the straight ankle lock, my sweet spot is right here, around this area, okay? Right where that forearm muscle starts to like meet the bone, okay? If it's over here, it's too much meat and it's too soft, right? I want to be as meat as possible, okay? So I want to go right on that bone, okay? And the same thing goes for the leg. The higher my arm sits on the leg, okay, the harder it's going to be to finish because there's a lot of meat here. And the way I attack leg locks, especially with the straight ankle lock, I don't try to go for an Achilles lock. So you got 3 different types of locks. Okay, you have, like, as far as the straight ankle lock, you have like an Achilles, then you have like an ankle ankle pain compliance type of lock, and then you have both, right? I try my best not to do both. I try one or the other. I try to do both. So when I'm looking in terms of the straight ankle lock and finishing the straight ankle lock, the biggest issue a lot of people have is when they're going for the straight ankle lock, they're doing a big arch, right? It eventually works, but that's turning that straight ankle lock more into like a pain compliance thing. Now, if you notice, when I do that arch, like most will, get the position of the foot like right under the armpit, right here, right? And when you arch, what ends up happening is this. My armpit just starts pushing down on the top of the foot, right? Maybe I'll get it, maybe I won't, but if you got someone like the Meow Brothers or even Kyo or someone with super uber flexible feet, this won't cut it, okay? They could fight this, okay? That's a variable that I don't want to have to rely on, right? So when we're walking, we never roll our ankles like this, right? If you're walking, we always end up rolling our ankles to the blade of the foot. So when I'm finishing the straight ankle lock, what I'm trying to essentially do is take his foot here and externally rotate it and then finish it. Make sense? Because now when I rotate it like so, and then I apply the braking mechanic on the ankle, and have my leg just driving into the Achilles tendon, that's where I'm taking those 2 different points of view, or those 2 different aspects of finishing aspects of the straight ankle lock, and applying it together. Okay, that's the underlying principle of effectively and efficiently finishing the straight ankle lock in a very high percentage. Okay, so now when I get into it, okay, there's so many different ways we could get into the straight ankle lock. We hold ashi and whatnot, but the issue is not getting into it is always finish it, which is why we're going to be emphasizing the finishing mechanics of the straight ankle lock versus the entries, So when I get the ankle lock, I want to. What a lot of people end up doing is like they get the super deep grip like so. Okay. What I want to have is my arm by his ankle here. Okay. This is my sweet spot right here. Okay. My hand is flat. I have this part of my forearm right at or above his heel. Okay. My right hand is going to grab my wrist here. Okay, which is why I used to show it where I use my wrist, the bony part of my wrist, but the mistake a lot of people were making is they're trying to grab their hand for support. And when I grab my hand for support, I end up putting a lot of stress on the wrist when I pull versus actually putting the stress on a much larger bone and not the joint. Okay, so over the years, I realized that this middle part right here is just as effective as this part of my wrist. So I just come in a little bit here. Now I have enough meat right here to grab my wrist. Okay, and I'm treating it like I'm doing a Marcellitine in a way. Okay, so now, key point, I got his toes, my armpit, right? got my leg in position. Now, what do I do to fold that elbow, that foot, so I make him roll his ankle? I'm gonna take my left elbow, okay? I'm gonna jump my elbow to my hip, like this, okay? Sorry, you all right?
That's all right.
Okay, so when I finish it, I am gonna arch, but I'm gonna rotate and look, I'm rotating my shoulder, so the motion is this. So I'm here like this. I'm not doing just this, okay, because I want to rotate that foot and break his ankle. So I'm doing this, bringing my shoulder to the floor. Okay, it's just kind of like what I was telling you the other day to finish it. So what ends up happening is this. So when I bring my elbow to my hip, it rotates, that pinch with my elbow to my hip rotates his foot like this, right? Now, as a arch, it locks out the foot like so. And then when I rotate my shoulder to the floor, it continues to rotate that foot and drive my ankle and the Achilles tendon, and it becomes that much quicker. Make sense? So again, so I have the straight ankle out here, okay? Grab my wrist. Now, right now, to make it as tight as possible, don't keep your palm or your hand right in front of your stomach. I want to drop it here. I want to get it up to my sternum, okay? Just like I was saying, like in Marcel, I'm bringing that elbow up, okay? Then I bring my left elbow to my hip here. Then I arch. Then I arch and rotate my shoulder to the floor. Make sense? Questions? Yes.
So the idea is basically to, because most mistakes is that people don't lock out the joint, they just let the foot be extended.
Yep.
So what we're trying to do is lock out the joint and then go from there. That you're starting from a locked out position.
Yes.
Because you're so, I put you so far more ahead.
Yes, so the foot, what I'm trying to do is this. I'm not trying to do this, straighten it out, okay?
Okay.
I'm trying to rotate the foot first. I rotate the foot and then I lock it out. Make sense? Because I need to create this bend here by externally rotating that foot, right? And then I break it.
Rotate and allow.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yes.
Are you trying to create that rotation before you bring that elbow to hip?
No, the elbow to hip is what creates that rotation.
Okay.
Because my elbow's here, with my elbow like this, right, the bottom of his foot's exposed.
Yeah.
But when I bring that elbow to my hip, the upper part of my arm is pushing the top of his foot into my ribs,
Okay.
right? So when I'm here like this, right? I'm here. Right now, I can see the bottom of his foot right here. So what I'm gonna try to do from here now is bring it inside here to my rib. Make sense? So right now, his foot is hidden,
Yeah.
okay?
It's not like on his lat.
Yeah. Okay.
So, again, I'm here. Boom.
Okay.
Then I arch and rotate. Make sense?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so this doesn't have to be fast, okay? You don't have to jump, it's not a big jumping movement, okay? It's a slow and controlled movement that shouldn't take a lot of energy or movement to finish, okay? Now, I have a very important theory that I really regurgitate to my students on a regular basis, okay? Like, we're all told in jiu-jitsu, position before submission. That's very, very general, but what I like to do is break it down even more, because it's more than just position over and then submission. First, you have to get the position, then you have to control that position. Okay, just because I'm in side mount doesn't mean, you know, I'm controlling him and I'll be able to get the submission. Because he could be bucking, turning, twisting, spinning, you know, trying to escape. So until I control that position, I'm not going for submission. Just because I'm in side control, I'm not just gonna jump for the submission. If you have to jump for submission, you're not controlling it at all. So position, control the position, then I control the appendage, okay, or the limb. Because typically when I'm attacking, okay, it's gonna be one of 4 limbs or the head, right? So I have to, once I control the position, then I get a hold of whatever limb that I'm trying to attack. I control that limb, and then I apply the submission, okay? That's the stages you should take in this general idea. You need to like really drill into your heads when attacking submissions, okay? Control the get to the position, control the limb, and then apply the submission. Make sense? Okay, so the other thing too with all submissions, make sure all that real estate's covered up, meaning there's not a lot of space, which means like, if my hand is down here with the straight ankle lock, there's a lot of space. So before I even start applying the ankle lock, I bring it up to my chest because I want to close up as much space as possible. I close up all that space, that submission's gonna come that much quicker, okay? If I find myself turning myself all the way to the floor to finish the straight ankle lock, that means something's loose somewhere, okay? And I gotta sort that out. And I sort that out by hiking that arm on my chest. So realistically, if I'm applying a straight ankle lock, okay, like Corey should be wanting to tap right when I drop my elbow to my hip. Make sense? So when you're drilling today, try to feel that trigger, okay? You want to be able to, again, finish, you want that submission so tight that when you jump that elbow to your hip to fold that foot, they're already tapping. Make sense? Any other questions? Yes. Yeah.
Who wants to be brave on this one?
So, wasn't like, okay. So, I'm here, sweet spot right here, okay? Got my ashi, okay? I'm bringing my hand up to my chest, doing like a little Marcellitine grip, okay? His toes are my armpit, and then look, I'm gonna jump my elbow to my hip, okay? And then from here, see? And then I rotate.
Wow.
But you see his face right when I jumped.
Yeah.
So I'm
Corey,
here.
you made the same face.
Yeah, I
just
made
so
the
you know.
same face.
So again, I'm here. Yeah.
So I went like that on the way, so you can.
Woo.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Yeah, thank you.
You alright?
Yeah, so, when you're talking about controlling that, position, when it comes to something like leg entanglement like that, what would you say is your mental checklist to be able to get that control?
The feet,
The feet?
the legs, squeezing. So, for example, when I'm here, the first part before I even think about the foot is this. This foot's here, my right knee's here, covering my heel. My right foot is behind this thigh.
Okay.
And then I'm actively squeezing my legs, okay? And it's the same thing with a single leg X if you're standing. This is my same mental checklist
Yeah.
right here, right? Then I start working on the grip, right? Because essentially, if your foot, your heel's rotated inward, I go for the straight ankle lock with the heel hook,
Yeah.
right? If you start, and then another thing I can do is just, if my legs are getting tired, just grab my shin and just hold it here.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yes, sir.
All right, you guys ready to drill?
Let's do
All
it.
right, let's go. 1, 2, 3.
Yep.
I just laughed. Teacher's that one.
I know.